Oh my.
Good. Okay. Hello.
Hi, I'm Tony,
Tony. I'm Alina.
and we're with Harper Therapy. And we are here to talk to you today about how to some of the risk factors that come up when you are dealing with a loved one who struggles with addiction. One of the biggest things that they have recently, I don't even know that it was that recently, but the adverse childhood experiences. They're called the ACEs. And some of the things that they say can impact, and if a child has, I think hits anywhere between 1 to 7 can help determine their risk of becoming addicted to substances.
So, one of the risk factors is having those adverse childhood experiences, risk factors for substance abuse. Adverse childhood experiences have been studied for a couple decades, maybe more, and they do a lot of research on how adverse childhood experiences, also known sometimes as trauma, affect outcomes in people's lives.
And because it doesn't just affect whether or not they're going to become an addict, it can also affect like if they're going to have high blood pressure, if they're going to have cholesterol. So I don't mean to say that ACEs is just going to tell you if you're going to become an addict. It can affect other things in your life. So some of the things that they have discussed that are the risk factors are if you have experienced violence or abuse or neglect as a child, even just witnessing that, so not necessarily being the victim of it, but even just witnessing it. If you have a family member or a friend either attempt or succeed with suicide, then it also the instability in your family. So something it's such a normal thing nowadays is divorce. And so that is one of the risk factors. So it is something that is fairly normal. And a lot of kids experience. At least 61% of people who participated in the research have at least one type of ACE. That's a decent amount of individuals that have these experiences. So if you know that your family member has experienced something like this, and it's not to, we said earlier, it's not to mean that they're going to be addicted, but now how do you deal with it? What do you do? Looking at it like a disease, because that's what substance use is. It is a disease. And so if you compare it to cancer or diabetes, you can't make somebody take those medications, but you can at least make sure that you're setting boundaries for yourself to make sure that they're being healthy. So it's the same type of idea.
Yeah.
Because one of the biggest things when dealing with somebody who is addicted is that you have to understand where they are in their addiction. And if they're not ready to stop, there's not a whole lot you can do to make them.
Right.
But you can keep yourself safe and develop your boundaries for yourself in order to, that will eventually help them, and it helps you.
Right. And something to just think about too is that, just like with heart disease, diabetes, cancer, someone may or may not develop that with risk factors or not, but there are certain things that can contribute to it. So like if you don't have a healthy diet, or if you don't, if you're eating sugar all the time, or if you're doing certain things, these things can influence whether or not the disease actually develops in your body. Same with substance abuse. It's not that an adverse childhood event is going to cause someone to have a substance abuse problem, but it can contribute to that developing in a person's life. So, we're not looking at so much as at cause and effect. We're just looking at these different factors that could play a part in someone ultimately developing a substance use issue, so that we can mitigate those risk factors early on before, they develop into something troublesome.
And then help treat those events later on to then make things better. So if you are dealing with somebody who is struggling with addiction, and you're feeling stuck and you need some assistance, please feel free to reach out to Harper Therapy. The phone number is 813-434-3639. And I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tony.